what I like to do is think about this shape that I want the face to be. So I'll just do a few shapes. And how about I'll do two. I'll do two faces. And then we can sort of build on them. Okay, so usually I just do some sort of shape. It's an easy way to distinguish and make your character design distinguishable and kind of give you a foundation to build on. So once I make these shapes, I kind of just figure out where I want the center line to be. And usually I just go really fast, but I'll try to slow this down and make it digestible. So I like to pick where I want the middle, where I want the nose to be. Now I'm not sure what kind of nose I want to give this character, but I'll give him a round nose. So I kind of like to make the nose somewhat of a shape. So this is a decent shaped nose, similar to my nose, wide, very wide. So now that we have that, I really want to make sure the eyes are centered. So I'm actually going to use the circle assist tool. So I'm just going to make the circle here, and I'm going to hold it. So then I have a perfect circle. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side because I want these to be equal. I don't want one eye shouldn't be here and one eye shouldn't be here. The eyes should be, the initial shapes should be pretty consistent. So now we want to do his expression, and the expression is a lot with the eyebrows and the eyes and of course the mouth. So if I was gonna give him a small mouth, I would try to keep it like within this range here. You know, anywhere in the middle. Unless he's doing some expression where he's, pushing his lips out, then it would be over here or something like that. But obviously you can give him a small mouth. Something like this. But since he has such a big face, I'm going to give him a big mouth. So give him a nice big mouth, and I'll make his mouth open. And a lot of these strokes, I just sort of go with the curves of the face. Now the teeth, I like to do shapes. I don't make the teeth too detailed because then you can get sort of lost in the detail. So, and here is my this is a little trick to make it look like. See how I have this tooth in front of this line? This one is behind. That's just to make it so that the teeth is going like this, and then they're going back like this. So that's just a little like depth of field. I can color these in a little bit because they're going further back in his mouth. You can do the lines like this for the teeth, but I don't usually do that for my teeth. And I'll just color this in. Sometimes I'll add the tongue and things like that, but I'll keep it simple and just color this in for now. Okay, so here's a nice looking mouth. That sounded weird. Okay, so we have his nose. I'm just going to erase some of these lines that are within his nose because I don't really need them. I do like sketch lines, but they can also they can be a little bit confusing, so just be careful with them. So now I'm just going to sort of shape out his forehead, and I'm going to make his eye sockets. So these are his eyeballs. We don't have any detail yet, but I'm going to make his eye sockets. This is how I determine his personality. Like, is he angry? If he's angry, it'll be something like that. You can put the eyes in. If he's... I kind of liked the angry look, actually. Maybe we should keep that. I kind of like placing the eyes in like this. And see how if he's looking this way, this eye is touching this outer line, and this one isn't. So if I was going to make him looking up, I wouldn't put a full circle up like this. I would sort of flatten out that disc, like so. And if he's looking really far over this way, and this one I'll actually put really flat. So that's an easy way to make eyes. So I make the circle first, and then I do the whole circle. If he's looking straight, then it's pretty round. I'll make this one pretty round too. But his eyebrows will also determine how he's feeling. So I shape this as the eyebrow line. So now if I want to add an eyebrow, then I just sort of add it on the top of that shape. And now I make a thick line outside of the eyeball, kind of like the eyelash. And then I make the little eyelid. And then since this is so high up, I'll put a little tick here as though it's the top of the eyelid. This muscle bringing the face up. And this is the bottom part of the eye socket. So I do like to include the bottom of the eye socket. And I'll erase these extra lines just so you can see the whole eye socket. And this space is important. All of this whole space in here, that's the eye socket. So that's very important in shaping out the face. Of course, you can always put the bottom of the eyelid. That also changes the expression. We'll give him big eyes. We'll leave his eyes big. Okay, so now for the shape of the face, the way that I have everything, this doesn't really look right here. So all I'm going to do is just make it a nice, smooth that out, because that line doesn't really work. And sometimes you just have to go and see what lines work. It just takes time to figure out what looks right and what doesn't. This is a little high here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of match this. I'm going to put it a little higher, like this, because this cheek, since this is so high up, this has to be up too. So it's okay that this is a little higher. The ears, I want the ears to be on this line, like I want, I'm paying attention to this line for the ears. So I want the ears to be here and here, because they're sort of in the middle of the, I'll give them some big ears. Big ears, if they don't look right, we'll give them some little ears. Okay. So we do want to make some space for his forehead. So if that's his forehead, then we'll just add a little bit of space for the rest of his head here, and then we'll add some hair. So let's see. We'll give him sort of curly, sort of unkempt old man hair. Add some curls to it. Okay, so for this face, I want it to be a little softer, not as extreme as the other face. So I have this nice shape here. So I'm going to draw the center line and sort of figure out where I want the nose to be. So I think the nose should be probably around here. So I'll make that a little circle for now. It might change. So now I'm going to do this little thing I do with the... Actually, I'm going to make this all lower. I think I need to make it all lower. Okay, so I'm going to make this face a little bit sweeter, in a sense. So I'm going to make the center line and nose can be about here. Nose might get a little smaller, but we'll see. Okay, so now let's figure out where I want the eyes and how I want the eyes. So this head is a little big, so I'm going to actually make a line across here and sort of skinny up the head a little bit. So the eyes, we'll make the first one over here. So we have our circle. I'm not going to make them that close to the nose like I did the other face. And I've been trying to practice doing a whole circle instead of trying to, like if I do one eye and then the other eye's here and trying to skinny that up. What I'm trying to practice doing is actually doing the whole circle, because you get a better understanding of why you're doing certain things. And then you do the skinning up process, you know, with the eyelid and stuff like that. So the fact that you have the whole eye, it helps achieve that balance. And then you can add your eyes. I don't know why I'm working on the face down there when I have this face up here that needs some work. Make this brush a little smaller. Okay, so we have our spaces for our eyes. So let's figure out where we want the eyes to be. So this will be the entire eyeball, and we'll make the eyes here. All right. So now, if we want to make the eyes lighter, then we can actually draw just a circle around them, and that becomes sort of a different type of iris. I'll leave that off for now. So like I was saying before, I'm just going to add that thick line. I'll add the same thing here. And now I'm just going to add the bottom of the eye. So just a line. And got the nose. Draw a little eyelid. So now we want the expression. So we'll make this angry, or sort of, not angry, but we want to have the bottom of that eye socket. We'll make the other one going up like this. So we'll make these the bottom of the eyelashes. Shapes aren't looking bad so far. They're kind of fitting. The only thing that I'm seeing is right now the bottom part is a little bit, let's see how that looks. Looks okay for now, but sometimes what I tend to do is draw this part way too far back when it should actually be like here. The bottom point should be here, but we'll see. So we'll make a little bit of space. That's one eye. That's one. So we'll make some space for the forehead. So this is all the forehead area. And now the ears. So the ears, we want to use that line again. So the ears want to be around here and here. And I always do this little shape for the ears. Just pretty easy. So that's not terrible. I'm just going to take Liquify, and I'm just going to move this over. So I just sort of rounded out the shape of the jaw. And I can see that the spaces here and the shapes of the eyes are a little weird, so I'm just going to adjust the eye. That looks a bit better. And I'm going to do the same thing for the mouth. You kind of want to keep it in the middle. So you want to use that as a sort of a template. You know, you don't want to put it too far on one side or the other. So it's not bad. Let's see if we want some. That looks weird. Let me make the eyes bigger, maybe. I don't mind the bigger eyes. So let me get rid of this, because that is looking at me funny. And also, the ears are quite big. So I'm going to make them a little smaller, bring them in a little closer. Bring this ear down a little bit, because the ears are a little high. I'm going to add a little more head, just so she has a little more like shapely, just round head. So now I want to make sure that I have the anatomy of the head is right. So sort of like how sometimes I can line my hair up and it'll be heavy like that. So it doesn't have to be that heavy, of course, but this actually shows the plane of like the side of the head, you know, like if this was in shadow, like that actually shows a plane. So it's important to think about those when you're drawing people. So you have the forehead, so that can be like the front tip of the hair, you know, or it can be here, but this is like the center. Like if the part was here, then it might go something like this. You know? Or if it was in the middle, then it might go off that way and then off this way as well. But then it might come down and this all might, you know, this. Something like that. But I want to do curly hair. So with curly hair, it's sort of the same, but I'm going to do everything in like these shapes. And it's really these coil shapes that really make it look good. So I'm going to make these eyebrows darker because I want them to stand out a bit. And then I'm just going to take my Sketchmaster 2 and I'm just going to darken this up. And I'll work on doing some slower versions, but I'm not that good with people, so a lot of it is really me experimenting. So once I get really good, then maybe I'll be able to do a really slow tutorial, but I'm just not that good with people yet. And what I mean by not that good is, you know, I can usually pull off what I need to, but I can't do every step really slowly because it always involves a lot of trial and error. And another trick, you can take your eraser and you can use the same brush. I'll use Sketchmaster. You can take your eraser and then you can sort of like you're adding like highlights to the hair. But I think I like it without the highlights. I have to work on that a bit more, but pretty happy with them. I mean, they're not bad. So yeah, I'll work on some more more character design, and I'll draw some better ones. And yeah, hope this was helpful to see my process and see how I work through things. As you can see, I'm not perfect, but you know, it's all about fixing up what you do. You know, start with a sketch and then do what you can to make it look like, to get to the place that you want it to look like. So you can have a lot of fun with these shapes and a lot of the techniques that I've showed you. So hopefully that's helpful. And yeah, see you guys in the next one.